When I first heard about the project, The Addams Family with Tim Burton, my first question was, why hasn't this been made sooner? This is the perfect match made in heaven. I'm the VFX producer at Rodeo VFX. We worked on Wednesday Season 2. We focused on Nevermore Academy. As well, we worked on the werewolf. The industry changes fast. I mean, over the span of 5 years, the biggest thing that we've seen is the level of quality needs to be on par with what you see in film. But the schedule doesn't always allow that. The most important strength to have in the industry today is flexibility with your pipeline. You need to have the ability to cater your pipeline to each show as needed because each show has specific requirements.
It's my responsibility on the project to figure out what tools and software we want to use. Concerning Autodesk tools, we use a lot. The Autodesk Media and Entertainment Collection really improves efficiency within our team. We use Motion Builder, Golem, and Maya. Giving artists access to a fully integrated toolset under one umbrella allows us to focus on creative challenges rather than pipeline friction between different softwares. I worked very closely with the animation and CFX departments to create new workflows, tools, and plugins for Maya to visually represent muscle and skin flexion for our creature, the werewolf. The biggest challenge of the project was the transformation sequences from Enid to the werewolf. If we didn't get that right, the finale wouldn't have worked. Enid being quite a small girl and the werewolf being a 12-foot monster, the proportion differences were immense, and that proved a lot of challenges both visually and technically. Trying to get the skin to not break in an unrealistic way while it being unrealistic was quite a challenge.
It's a very unique looking werewolf. It has very extended arms, very stylized fur. It's one thing to have a pretty character, it's another thing to bring it to life on screen. We've really relied heavily on both Maya and Motion Builder. We would layer down motion capture as our base, start customizing and adapting the performance. Motion Builder can handle a lot of information, and splicing together stuff is so much easier. Pushing that back out to Maya to refine the animation, to customize it for the camera. And we've developed a circular workflow where we can push that animation back into Motion Builder, back into Maya, primarily using FBXs. We really had a good flow between all the animators, each of us bringing different strengths to the team. It's easy at that point to just shift scenes around to whoever you need to.
Something unique about Tim is that he has a very specific style to everything he does. And one instance specifically for us was the Nevermore Academy environment.
Nevermore Academy on this season was completely CG. We actually moved the castle around almost on every single shot.
We would need to build the environment in a modular setting where we can pull towers up, we can shift buildings over here to create that composition that Tim would be looking for.
The asset team is in charge of building the models, textures, look depth, and shaders, and the overall look of the environments, the creatures, and the digitables in case we need it. Maya is the right tool because it's the industry standard, which means that from a modeler to an animator to a rigger, we all speak the same language. We also use Arnold for shaders and lighting and rendering. Rodeo's pipeline is based on USD. In our particular case, in Asset is super useful because it means that we can create model variants, texture variants, or shader variants of the same asset. In the case of Nevermore, we had to create a wet and dry variation. For a landscape, we had to create an autumn and forest variation.
Our animation department on Wednesday Season 2 used Golem as a crowd tool. It was really useful to have Golem inside of Maya. We used it on a few shots on Wednesday. To have animation and the crowd departments both working within one software really sped up our efficiency. Visual effects is very much about recreating the physical world around us, which is fascinating in itself. But bringing to life something that doesn't exist or shouldn't exist makes me want to come to work every day. Giving artists access to fully integrated toolsets allows us to really push our creative boundaries and create something that the world hasn't seen before.